Let's talk about the top 10 biggest mistakes that beginners in dropshippers make, because in e-commerce world, small mistakes cost a lot of time and money. Hi guys, I'm Ramtin, and last year this time you can go all the way to my first video and to check on this. I was a complete beginner and now I'm making 6 figures. I made a lot of mistakes at the beginning and I've documented them so I can share them with you so you won't do the same mistakes as I did. I'm going to chat to you about the mistakes beginners make, and I'm going to make it a 3-part. First one will be before you start the dropshipping, second one will be when you're in the game, and the third one when you're making the money. So let's get into it. It sucks to realize this, but your store could fail before you even launch the website. And this is because there is not enough research. If you go through your YouTube history now and you see that your last 10 watch videos are about e-commerce, you may thinking like, I did enough research, but really no you didn't. YouTube videos are general tips and advices. It is coaching calls and courses that really can take you to the next level and help you to grow and scale your business very fast. At least that was what was my experience with it. Having a mentor is also really important, and you can talk to a mentor personally and they can help you and give you a lot of directions, like very good. Look at the products you can sell, check their target market, research your suppliers and look at the stores you like and get inspirations from them. And it doesn't need to be a stores you like, it can be a stores from your competitors and all that stuff. And I have pages and pages of full notes, and to this day I'm still doing my due diligence when I'm trying to find a new product or even do a new product. I just take my time, maybe it takes up to weeks when we maybe set up the product page, write down everything, do all of the setups, do the creatives, do the backend and all that stuff. Understanding your product, your advertising, your store and your market is the most important thing when you start out. And guys, you cannot miss this out, because if you miss one of these steps, you're going to fail. Without research, you will definitely make the mistakes number 2, which is no plans and goals and deadlines. What's your aim for your e-commerce business? What's your goal? If it's to get rich quickly and easily, it's not going to work, not when you're a beginner. I see so many people complaining about their product not selling, and when I ask them to see their goal and the plan outline, they don't have one. Without it, you might be spending too much time on one product and not enough time on the other one. Having plans and goals and deadlines will help you to understand where you and how far you have to go. You need to write down step by step, day by day, plan by plan, and how you're going to run your business. You need to know when you are going to launch a certain ad, how many hours you need to spend on creating your store, and these things need to be up on your wall where you can see them every day and know how far you have come and how far close are you to reaching your goal. Okay, now let's look at the mistakes that people make when you are in the game. You got your research, you made your plan, but your product isn't selling. Or it is selling, but you're walking on thin ice because you keep getting complaints from your customers. What are you going to do? What is it that you're doing wrong? As a beginner, the worst products you can start off with are jewelry, health products, cosmetics, guys, electronics, dresses, and basically branded products such as trademark products, because you can get in some troubles. And the most obvious one, the watches, guys. And these products basically and these niches aren't very good because they are very competitive, and when you're trying to go in that niche, you're basically going to be overwhelmed by the competition that is there. And the people are in that market, they have much more experience than you, they have more money and they have more knowledge in the industry, they know what to do, they have the contacts, but you're basically a very beginner that's going to start from zero. You don't have that much of money, so it's going to be hard time with you to compare with those guys, even if you start in the untapped market such as the European market. But in this niche that I just mentioned, they are not so untapped, so you have to be careful with that. And I don't want you to lose the money and just start the product in these niches and just lose off your money and say dropshipping is not working. I recommend you to stay safe with the products that are much lower ticket and they are new to the market, so you will have more chance. And you make sure that those products are not trademark, and make sure you're not stealing someone else's ads, because you can get into copyright problems if they get really into it, and you can pay a lot of money, guys. You should be very careful. But I'm going to give you a couple of examples of the products I would recommend you to sell right now, which is a couple of niches. Always remember to choose a product that solves a problem. For example, example, if you have a back problem, you can use this pillow, or if you have a hard time sleeping, you can maybe try this pillow, or if you have a problem with your posture, you can use the posture corrector. So what I'm trying to get in at this, you have to always provide value to the market in order to get something back. If you want to make a lot of money, guys, you have to solve a big problem. The bigger the problem, the more like money going to be in it for you, and it's more scalable it is. So I recommend you to go something like, maybe you can niche it down to yourself and ask yourself what problem I have as a person and how can I solve it, if there is any product that can help you. And I promise you there's tons of people like you that have the same problem. So, and the reason like you can start with yourself is because you know the problem specifically, because you live it and you know how it is, how it feels. So you can write your ad copy in more detail, and in order to get more relevancy with your audience, prospects, and turn them into customers. Bad looking store, guys. Yeah, so this is very important. You have to have a good store which is optimized for your audience and for all the demographic that you're selling in. You have to keep them engaged and keep them in the website basically. And you cannot have a website like this basically with the colors are everywhere and it's very unprofessional, and you can see you're not going to sell, but you're going to still sell, but not going to sell at high conversion rate in order to have a high profitability and more AOV. And higher the AOV you have, the more scalability chance and long term where your store will be. You have to make sure that your store coloring is correct. I always recommend my students to have 2 colors, which is black and white, don't touch that, and the one extra color which going to be your main brand color. So for example, you can have blue, white and black. So blue going to be your maybe kind of a logo color, and you're going to use the blue color as your main color theme. So, and blue color can bring like more credibility and stuff, and depends on what you're selling. For example, if you're in a health niche and you're selling a product that solves some kind of a pain, you can use a blue color, guys, as this gives out more credibility. And it really depends on a product. If you're selling a product to a woman, you can use color pink, and it's very basically obvious. Or if you're trying to sell a product that is for babies, both, you can use some gender neutral colors such as purple, white. If your store look outdated with old fonts and outdated colors, and the buttons and everything don't work, they won't be able to trust you. And also, if you don't have a high quality photos and images, people not going to buy, guys. I cannot stress it enough, because people eyes work as a scanner. When you go into the website, you don't read all of the product description that they have, but you just see the pictures at the beginning, because pictures are bigger and more attractive. So if you don't have a high quality images, you're going to have a problem. And I understand that sometimes in some situation you have a hard time finding pictures, but I will going to mention a website to you, which is letsenhance.io. You can see it down below in the description below, guys. With this website you can have a high quality images. Basically you can give an image with this 360 like quality, and you can make it 1080. So this website basically makes it much more professional, much more higher quality, so you can put it into your website and get higher conversion rate. And also the last tip I have for you regarding your store's optimization, you can ask your friends and family in order to check and review your website, or you can ask your other e-commerce friends to check and see like what's the difference, and like basically check everything. You can compete your store with the other competitors store, and you see what they did and how you can replicate the process. What color did they use, what picture are they using, what are they doing with the ads and the ad copy, and basically you can see how they do it, and you can replicate it and do it better in the country that they're not currently advertising in. This goes hand in hand with the look and feel of your store, but it needs its own point, because I've seen too many people make this mistake. At the beginning, I spent a lot of time creating really good ads. I reach out to people and get them to wear the product and review it and send it, and to send me videos of them using it, basically a simple UGC. I made sure that the videos had the same color flow as the website, so everything matched and looked much more professional. And it's the same with the images. Make sure that you have a high quality images, guys. I'm repeating myself because this is very important, so make sure you do that. Not checking the delivery times. You're going to have a customer charging back on their cars, leaving a bad reviews, and maybe getting your store closed if you get too much refunds, guys. You have to be very careful, and that's your all hard work going to be basically gone. When you're ordering products and choosing suppliers, check the delivery times for your specific country that you're currently selling in. A product may take up to 7 to 10 days, or in some countries 15 to 20 days for the delivery if you don't have your own warehouse or you don't have 3PL. So this is the amount of time going to take, and I recommend you to always be transparent with your customers. And where you can say this is in the shipping page, when the customers put their shipping information, their name and after they're going to choose the shipping options. You can choose, for example, standard shipping between 7 to 10 business days, and trust me, this is going to lower your conversion a little bit, but you're not going to have chargebacks, and you're going to have more transparent relationship with your customers, and you may get more purchases since they like how transparent you are. And it's going to be better because as soon as they purchase, and if you have a late delivery which is 10 to 12 days, which you have just mentioned, they're not going to email you anything. They're going to chargebacks because they already know and you told them before they purchased this. Now we're at problem 7, which is not knowing when to let go, and I'm guilty of this myself, guys. So basically the first store that I scaled to 250 or 300,000 or something like that, I had a hard time letting go because like it wasn't working at the end, and product basically died, and I had a hard time scaling it. I tried everything. I tried new creatives, influencer marketing, email marketing, and basically whatever I did, it didn't work. I just had to let it go, and after spending so much money on it, yeah, basically it didn't work, and nothing worked. I did due diligence. I asked some of the friends that had more experience than me. I started doing influencer marketing. I started doing TikTok ads, Snapchat ads. Nothing basically worked because I had creative fatigue, and people didn't want to buy the product anymore, and the angle that I was selling the product on basically died on, or the customer that was attracted to that angle and could relate to it. Basically the customer base was over, and since I'm selling it in European market, in the countries that basically all of the countries in European market, they don't have that much of audiences, like don't have that much people in it, and of those people think that there is some amount of people, like 20 to 30% that going to want your product. So you're going to reach ad fatigue very fast when you're scaling in a European country. So one thing I recommend you to do is always have a backup plan, which is always have extra creative, or you can have a contract with the creative company that they just make content and give to you, or you can go to below ads, or you can just go to Fiverr freelancers and send the product to them. Write down a specific text of what you want, and they will deliver a product for you, and they will deliver the video ad for you for less than 20 bucks. When you're making money, first you rely on your payment process, such as Shopify payments, as we have in European market, Klarna payments, and Mali, and basically other those famous payment processes. And when you're a beginner, when you're trying to scale, you're basically going to scale very soon after, and you're going to have a large amount of money within a short period of time, and you're going to have a problem with your payment processor if you have a chargeback rate, or basically if they don't know you and this is your first time there. So they're going to sooner or later hold some of your money, so you have to be careful with the cash flow, guys, and you have to be able to manage the money. You should always have backups. You should always think about the worst situation scenario when you're trying to scale a store. See, okay, if this happens, what can I do? Can I save a little bit of money? Can I borrow money from friends? But from my situation, when I was scaling my first store, I got around 50,000 euros on hold from Shopify payments for 4 months. Basically, it was 4 months. Why? Because there was a couple of customers that did the chargeback, and I didn't really pay attention to it because I was scaling. It was my first time. I was just enjoying the experience, didn't really care. I was like money, but I was thinking short term, and that got to me. And basically, Shopify payments hold my money for 4 months basically, or some amount of around 40,000 euros, 50,000 euros, something like that. But hopefully that, unfortunately, I had a backup plan, which was like I could borrow money from friends, and I had some amount of money saved up so I could use that. But I recommend you to always be careful and don't put all of your eggs in one basket. And by that I mean that don't use only one payment processor. When you're trying to sell in Europe, you can use a different payment processor. So for example, you can have Klarna from one payment processor and credit card from another one, so you don't need to have them all together. So one payment processor wouldn't have all your money. We are almost there, guys. So now we're at not registering your business, which I see this happen too often. So when you start your e-commerce, so it's just you and all the countries laws are different. So I suggest you getting an advisor on tax practitioner in your country. At first, you will usually register as a sole trader. Every time money comes into your account, you need to put away 25% of that for tax, guys. And I don't care what country you're living in, I don't care what rules they have, you have to always be careful and always be prepared basically for a worst case scenario. And you won't pay basically 25% tax depending on the country you're living in. If you don't pay 25% at the end of the tax year, you will be able to claim the tax back. Putting away 25% is a good rule of thumb there, so you're on the safe side. As you grow and you start paying people salaries, you may need to register as a company. In that case, you pay more tax, but it has to be done, guys. Nothing in life is certain except death and taxes. So I recommend you to do this, guys. Please don't try to avoid taxes, and you don't want your name to get blacklisted for $20,000. You have to think about it long term and don't mess with these things. And last week's consultation call winner is, so all you need to do is just send a proof that this is your profile on my Instagram so we can get onto your consultation call. This was what we went through this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to, you can just pause the screen like for a second and see everything we went through. If you have any question, please leave it down below in the comment section and I will answer to you within 1 hour, I promise. If you like the video, please subscribe to the channel, and guys, basically that's it. I hope you enjoy the content. See you next time.